In this video today, we're going to talk about Facebook ads and the audiences that you need to create to have successful ad campaigns running and help you grow your brand, sell products, and get your message out to those who need to hear it. So keep watching because we're going to talk about custom audiences, lookalike audiences, and the 5 must-have audiences you need to set up right now. Thanks for watching. Let's dive in. Hey, welcome in. This is part 2 of our Facebook ads training. If you missed part 1, head over to the IGTV or to my YouTube page and you can see part 1 where we talk about goals and how do you clarify your goals so that you know the objectives you want to choose for your actual Facebook ads. But in part 2, we're going to be talking about the next most important thing, and that is your audience. Who are you actually talking to in your content and who are you targeting? So we're going to dive right into it. We're going to talk about why this segment and why this focus is so important. Now, if you remember, a couple weeks ago, I created a piece of content called How to Create a Great Facebook Ad. And inside of that, we talk about clarifying our goals. We talk about defining who we're targeting, and that's who we're talking about today. And then we're talking about creating the ad for the target demo. So today we're going to dialogue about how do you decide who you're targeting with custom audiences or lookalike audiences. And I'm going to dive into both of those, and then I'm going to talk about how you can create them and then ways that you can think about using them for yourself. So let's dive into it here. The first thing I want to talk about is the difference between a custom audience and a lookalike audience. So Facebook has this great option where you can actually upload email addresses of people that you have currently or audiences that you have currently to your Facebook and put them in your audiences. They also have great options where you can create audiences based off of Instagram activity, Facebook activity, video views, app purchases, conversion activity from your website. There are so many ways that you can create custom audiences for your brand. So let's go through a couple. If you are an influencer, if you are an author, someone like that, you might have an email list that you've built. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take that email list and you're going to upload it to your Facebook audiences page, and you're going to want to create an audience off of that. We're going to get into a minute here what we're going to use with that audience. That's one great place to start. Another audience that you want to create is you want to create your Instagram activity audience. So these are people, there's all kinds of different options that you can choose from. You can go in, so let's do that now. So I'm going to create a custom audience. This is all found in the Business Manager. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to create a custom audience based off of my Instagram business profile. And then there's all kinds of different options here. You can select anyone who's visited your business profile, engaged with your post, people who've sent you messages, people who have saved any posts. So for today, I'm going to create one for myself, and I'm going to create one for people who have saved my post. The thing about Instagram to think about is what's the kind of activity that people are doing that tells you that they're the people who you want to interact with. So people who've saved your post, visited your profile page, stuff like that, that's a valuable content of people. You can select how many days I'm going to do over the last 180 days. Okay. And then I'm going to name it. So people who have saved my Instagram post. And then I'm going to hit boom, create audience. This is a super easy way to create an audience and to get a gathering of people who you're going to market to. Remember, when you have goals and you have clear objectives, whether it's selling something, getting more engagement on your content and more awareness, you can then start to think about who you're going to target with that ad. So creating custom audiences are endless. So let's say you're an e-commerce store or platform like that where you're selling something. One of the great uses of a custom audience is that you can actually place a pixel on your website through Facebook and then select the type of things that you want people, the type of audiences that you want them to create. So for instance, someone reaches a checkout page, you might create a custom audience based off that. Let's say someone adds something to a cart, but they don't purchase. That's an audience. Let's say you have people who browse certain categories of your website, whether it be clothes or merchandise or a specific product. The options are limitless here, which is really cool. So let's say that you sell iPhone covers, okay? So you sell iPhone covers and you sell the pop sockets that go in the end, okay? So with an iPhone cover, that's one page that people might go to. Let's say that you want to go into Facebook and you want to target someone who's looked at an iPhone 10 or an iPhone X, the iPhone X Pro cover that has that phone, okay? You could create a custom audience based off anyone who's visited that page for this product. And then here's the great thing is when you go into the ad creation, you set that up, okay? You can set it up by location, by demographic, whatever it may be. But then the next step you can go in and do is you can actually target people who only have iPhone 10s with the ad. You can kind of see how once you clarify what you want to do with the ad, then you can start targeting the people that you want to talk to. The whole point of a Facebook ad is to get very niche and focused on who you are talking to. The other point is not to waste money, clearly. So the focus here is that you want to narrow down your audience to know exactly who you are talking to. So for instance, I might be looking at hats because right now I need a haircut desperately. I might be looking at hats, whereas you might have someone else who's looking at a product that's completely different. But you can target me because I visited that hat page. And you can see the power of this. So if you're an e-commerce store, you want to put the pixel on your website and you want to create custom audiences based off of things you want to accomplish and so forth. Creating custom audience is really powerful for whoever's using this, whether it be a musician, a church, a brand, a nonprofit, an e-commerce store. Think about the custom audiences you want to create. So you create them off of your email list, off of your website traffic, off of your activity interacting with your brand, and off of different services around that. The other powerful thing is something that Facebook calls lookalike audiences. And the best way that I can say that a lookalike audience is, this isn't a technical term, but a lookalike audience is basically Facebook's way of saying, hey, we're going to create an audience, a big audience, 1 million plus people. We're going to create that audience for you. We're going to do it based off of the characteristics that you are telling us to focus on. So let me show you what I mean by that. If you go to create audiences and you click lookalike audiences, you can select a source of people that you are interacting with that you've already created your custom audience and create a lookalike audience off that. So for instance, a powerful audience to create would be taking your email list and creating a lookalike audience of that. And what Facebook does is it goes out and it looks at all the data of all the people who are on their account and they basically narrow it down to these are the people that most match your email list. And from that, they then gather them into a group and you can do it by region, you can do it by location. There's all kinds of different things you can do. They gather them into a group of 1 million people and then they say, hey, these are the people that we most think will match that custom audience. So it's very important, as you can imagine, that you need to have a custom audience set up for your brand and a lookalike audience. And the most important ones you need to have, let's go over these again. Email list, traffic on your website, interaction on Instagram, interaction on Facebook, and interaction on your videos that you put on Facebook or Instagram. Those are the 5 audiences that I would create right now, right away. The power of creating these custom audiences and lookalike audiences is it again allows you to clarify who you are talking to. Once you go into your ad, you're going to start with that custom or lookalike audience. Now, once you have these custom and lookalike audiences set up, you can start to work through your ad. And the really powerful thing is that you can start to get very detailed in who you are talking to. So for instance, you start your ad, you come up with your goal, you set that a goal, you're gonna go for an engagement one. Then you go and you go, I wanna talk to only people who have watched my Instagram content, okay? Great, so that's my custom audience or my lookalike audience that I'm working with. Then you're gonna go in and you're gonna start to get into interest. And that's where you can start focusing in on who exactly you are talking through based off your audience. So let me show you an example here of one I used. So this is a lookalike audience. It's based off of 1% of Facebook users who have look like people who have interacted with my content on Instagram. So I target to United States, I target it to 24 to 36-year-old male and females. And then this is where it really gets interesting because you can start to get into the interest. So a lot of the interests that I got into were like small business, digital media, brand management, because these are people that I'm trying to talk to about my content. The other side is that you can match them up with titles. So for instance, a couple of the people that I targeted here were like content creators, music managers, content editors, content manager, content specialist. The cool thing about that is those are people who have that in their job title on their Facebook page. So if I wanted to, I could go in and target only people who work at a specific record label with a specific title in a specific city with a specific age. That's how detailed I can get with this ad. You can imagine the possibilities. Now you might rewind that back out and let's say that you're a small business owner and you sell phone cases. Let's say that you want to target females who are 24 to 36 years old only using the iPhone who live in Nashville, Tennessee and who work at a clothing store. You can go in and set those parameters up and target them. The cool thing about that is once you know your goals and you know your target, the next step is you can start to create the ad. So now you can create an ad that specifically talks to them. And you can say, hey, I know what it's like working in a clothing store and wanting to look at your phone. Check this out. This will protect your phone or something along those lines. You see how detailed that can get for you and how successful? The difference that separates a lot of people in being successful with their Facebook ads and not is how detailed and how focused and how clear they are in what they want to do. So, couple things that you need to do walking out of this. You need to go in and you need to create custom and lookalike audiences. You need to do that immediately. Go set up those 5 that I talked about, okay? Then the next thing you need to do is when you think about your ad, you need to think about who is this ad created for? Where do they live? What's their names? What kind of habits do they have? What are their jobs? It's very important to know who you're talking to in this so that you can take that and put it into your ad. So that's lesson 2 on our Facebook ads training. Lesson 1, have a clear goal. Lesson 2, know who you're talking to. Hope that helped. As always, you can message me. You can reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help you. Talk more about your ads, help you with your audiences, whatever that may, clean that up. I offer a service where I actually go in and set all this up for you. You don't even have to do it, and make sure that you're being served to the best of your abilities. I've done this for several artists, for several businesses. So if you want to be a part of that, reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help you.